Hello, welcome to my project Volvo. This 244, now two-seater, because we have the V10 here in the back. And this is the first time I have it on the wheels, on the ground, by itself here. Will the car be ready for StreetWeek Sweden 2024? The race is just in less than 4 weeks now, actually. In this episode I will try to install as much of the small things left as possible, and then I will take it apart. It will be completely apart. I will take the engine out, gearbox out, body, and strip the chassis, weld all the welds where I have not welded for some brackets, maybe turn it upside down and put paint on it. Maybe not in this episode, we'll see how far I go. And put some flooring and everything there. So yeah, a lot of things to do, but it's nice to see that it's coming along. Actually, it's getting closer and closer to be in car. Bumper is not attached, just on some wood there, and I'll have a spoiler, but I'm trying to see how low it's gonna be and also how wide. It's gonna be a bit wide there. Yeah, good to see. If I can lower this one, maybe I can just move these brackets a bit. But it still feels pretty low. To go into the car, it's feeling pretty low. Here I have the 28-inch front tires on. This is the ones I think will be the best for performance. And with the height of the car, tire is almost going all the way up to the hood, a lot further out from where the fender should be. So I don't really know how to do a fender here that could look good and be this wide. That's maybe not that important. I will make it fully functional mechanical, and then how it's looking. I think this car will look pretty ugly here in the first tests, and then maybe I can do something better in the future. Installing as much equipment as possible, especially if I need to weld some mounts for it. Behind the seat here I have a passenger seat, and it is the same Sparco ones as I have on the driver's seat, so it will be two of the same ones with these protectives here for the head, even for the passenger. And behind here the seat we have an fire extinguisher. This one is an 3M Novik one. I bought it for my Audi, but never installed it. But I will install it now in this car, and it is electronically activated, this one, so I will have a button for it. And it's not that big actually. I think in drag racing it's required to have a bigger ones, but in the class I will drive, there's no need for a fire extinguisher. It's only recommended, but I will have it, and if something goes wrong back here, hopefully this can extinguish the fire. And the good thing with this gas is a little bit more expensive than the normal ones, but it doesn't leave any residue on the engine. In the cockpit here we also have one of these little nice boxes here. Nice and nice, but it's an air condition and heater unit. This one is a pretty small one actually, and pretty lightweight. I think it's made by like Sirocco. So this one will give good air to the cabin here. Maybe do some 3D printed elbows, so it can put some air into the window, or if you want to have it down to the feet. So just tacked some tubes here for it, and we'll weld everything a little bit nicer. But fits good there, and still plenty of room for the passenger. On my way to take everything out of the chassis and fully welding all of the tubes to all of the brackets for everything. And nice to see the car coming in some different shapes. Body over here and chassis here. I will remove the tail here as well, so I can weld everything and put some paint on it. And here is the compact air condition heater and air condition unit. I posted a picture on my Instagram, and many people asked me about this one, so I can tell you a little bit more about it. The brand of it, it's Sirocco. Sirocco HVAC. I think they are from France. I actually bought this one on eBay. So I just searched for compact heater and air condition unit, and there were several different ones. So we have the fan back here, some wiring for it. On this side it's water, it's a drain here, and input for the and output for the air condition here as well. So it's a very compact one. A drain here for the water as well, and lightweight, I think less than 4 kilos. So it's perfect for a race car. And a simple wiring diagram here as well came with it. So it's not that much. I have seen there is some units that have built-in electronics with some buttons on the front, for example, and for the fan and vents, but yeah, this one is all external. As always, thank you for all the comments on the videos, and yeah, I take as much input I can from you guys if you have any ideas or something, and I'm also asking you questions about, for example, the parachute here, and yeah, I'm gonna answer back on some questions. I have made some comments also, but some in the last video was a little bit more frequent than before. And one thing is that many guys say that I maybe accidentally put the parachute out when I have it on the clutch pedal. My idea to have the parachute on the clutch pedal, and some say I should have some button on the steering wheel also. But yeah, of course, having something electronically on the steering wheel, it could be a really good idea, but right now I don't have time for that, and I don't have yeah, the parts for it. I will use this simple parachute and just a mechanical cable here to make it as lightweight and simple as possible, and do not want to involve some electronics into it. And maybe it is true that I will accidentally put the parachute out, but yeah, I don't think so, or yeah, I don't hope so, and I can show you why. But one thing is that I will only have this parachute installed on the car. I will have a quick mount, so I will only have it installed when I do drag racing, not on the street and yeah, other like tracks, but it will be only on the drag racing. And also you can see it has this flag here, remove before flight. So when this cable is pulled, it will deploy, but if you have this one flag there, it will not deploy. So what you usually do is everywhere when you have the car in the pits, you have this one installed, because it could be dangerous to have this parachute popping out if people are behind the car, and it is a big spring inside here that will pop it out, so it could be dangerous. So it's the same even if you have a hand lever or, like me, foot lever. So always in the pits it will have this flag, and I also in the burnout, and after I've made the burnout, my team guy, helper, will remove this one. So now it is activated. So if I push the clutch pedal in the burnout or in lineup or in the pits, nothing is happened, because this one is in there anyway, so it cannot deploy. But it may deploy during the run, but during the run I'm using the brake and the throttle pedal, and going down to the starting line I will hold full brake, then I will use the throttle and staging there, and then when I will want to go I release the brake. Then I will put my left foot to the left, I think, and also I will put a spring in this release. It will be pretty hard to press it down there, so I don't think it will be accidentally. The only thing during the run is that I will maybe adjust the throttle if it's getting loose somewhere, and then when the run is finished I will move over, and yeah, if I accidentally push it there afterwards with a brake, yeah, that doesn't matter. I think it's okay. So yeah, not that worried, but many of you guys seem to be worried, and maybe you're right. We'll see. And also to have it something on the steering wheel electronically could be a good idea. And also some guys inform that you can have it like on the G meter, And yeah, that's also a smart thing actually. Maybe you can program it in the ECU or in the PDM that if you're above a certain speed and the positive G-forces going down, it actually releases the parachute there. Another thing is the bolt pattern here for the rims that some of you guys said that I can re-drill this one to make it some kind of drag racing rims that are available. But I don't think that's so good idea. Usually this one is a flange, even thickness, but in this one you can see it's just thickness where the bolts are. So in between here it's very thin. So I would not like to drill between here and put the bolt or threads there. So these ones, maybe with the spacer or build something up on this side, but it's a lot of horsepower going out on this, so I want to have this one as sturdy as possible. So these ones are not really possible to re-drill, I think. But yeah, thank you anyway for the input there. When it comes to wiring of the car, the most optimal would be to build a brand new wire harness. But to save some time, I think I'm going to start with this wire harness from an Audi R8 and yeah, remove some of the shit from out here. And the biggest reason is because I'm going to run the gearbox with the normal TCU or the original TCU, transmission control unit, and that one needs to have some other units also, I think. So then yeah, I will use this one with connectors and wires, but I will try to rip some of unwanted wires out of this one, and yeah, I'm very sure I will redo this in the future on. I'm trying to figure out what I can remove and what I cannot remove. Of course, I removed the wiring for like the amplifier. No stereo is going into the car, and airbags is not going in. I hope it will be happy without this ECU for some airbags, or yeah, the sensors going in here. Got them out and removed the wires for that one. Tire pressure was here, removing that, and yeah, trying to remove as much as possible. The damper control unit for the electronic dampers, remove wiring from that one, and in that I managed to program out of my R8, so it should be possible to run without that one. And I see what I can use here for the original, like the fans and stuff like that. I think I will use some of this wiring and maybe put an PDM in for the chassis. Not full, but maybe later on it will be full PDM controlling the car, but no time for building a harness with that one now. I'm adding some reinforcement here for the front suspension, so it will be a little bit stronger. Maybe it was strong enough before, but adding some of these tabs I got laser cut for me. Also here for the other ones, I think I'm gonna do some reinforcements like this little lightning holder, but it will make it a little bit stronger forward and back. So this is the final welds, almost, I think. I hope so. Not much more welds going on now. The chassis is actually out for the first time, and it is for some paint. I'm putting on some VHD roll bar and chassis, the satin black one from BGP Race, and yeah, I don't have time to bring it to a painter, and I'm not a painter, so do not learn from me, but I'm putting on some black paint here, and We'll see, so it will not rust and look a little bit better, but nothing professional here. Still have some to do. I had it upside down before, and yep, now on the top side here before I take it in and can install some pieces on again. Can I say that the car is out of the garage for the first time, or is this cheating? Yeah, at least the chassis is out, but long way to be a car, and just a couple of weeks to StreetWeek, but I still think it's possible to make it. What do you think? Optimal for drag racing would be to have the wishbones the same length, the upper ones as the lower ones. Now you see the lower ones are much wider, longer than the upper ones. Then if it's all parallel, I think the wheel will move up and down without any camber change. So now it will be some camber change, but that's will go for now. The front diff is apart here, and it's looking good, but it's still an open one in the front here, and yeah, it will do. And there's a little bit of modification here to this one. I cut this beam off and made some strengthening below here, so it will clear the chassis. Working a bit on the firewall, and have glued on the floor here, aluminium. We'll talk about that a bit later, and doing some work on the engine, having the oil pump off. It is an dry sump oil pump here. A lot of scavenge ports on this one compared to the 5.0 V10. So the pump is out, and changing some seals that is bad here, and here is some very cool looking scavenge filters before the pump, last chance filters, replacing some of them as well. It is time to install the engine. We'll see. I think it is correct there. Probably one of the quickest engine installs I ever have done. Not often you can install it from the front in a mid-engine car like this. Installing all the equipment around the engine, all the tubes and hoses, everything. Try to make this complete before I pair it together with the chassis there. And because I'm quite stressed now, less than 4 weeks to race, I don't have time to film much of the work, so sorry about that. It takes time to set up the camera and film everything, but it's mostly installation here of the pieces I have made before. And this is it for this video, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.